Geico's been saving people for 75 years with car insurance. You serious about savings? Go to geico.com. Geico.com. After 75 years, they know how to save you money. We've got all sorts of stories. Odell Beckham, some are saying now, is on the trading block. Antonio Brown, are the Steelers trapped? With that, we go to senior NFL reporter, Monday morning quarterback, former Patriot beat writer at the Globe, Albert Breer via the Coward Global Satellite Network. Let's start with Antonio Brown. Yesterday, Big Ben kind of threw him under the bus, said, I call, I text, he doesn't return it. So did the teammates. Obviously, Big Ben's got his own drama and things here that are tough sometimes to put your arms around. What do the Steelers do with AB? Are they trapped with his contract, Albert?
Oh, this is a complicated one because they love his work ethic. I mean, I talked to somebody in the building yesterday who said, this guy is the hardest worker on the team, and it's by such a wide margin, I don't even know who's number two. The flip side is that you don't know which AB you're getting on a day-to-day basis. I don't think they trade him. I think they view this as part and parcel to who he's been over the course of the last few years. Obviously, this happening during Week 17, it's not ideal. They know exactly what set him off. And so whether or not they can manage it going forward, we'll see. But I certainly think the value he has to the Steelers is greater than the value they can get out there for him. I think a lot of teams look at this and say, you know what, he's a great player, but at the price tag, at his age, you add everything into it, it's just not worth it for us to go down that road. Okay,
Jets in Cleveland have an opening. I'm going to go old school. Mike McCarthy's a winning coach. Everybody bailed on Andy Reid, and he's now the number one seed in the AFC. I'm not convinced that Big 12 coaches, coordinators, everybody, all these hot shots, and I got nothing against Cliff Kingsbury. I think he's very clever. He'll do very well at USC if he stays. Give me your thought process on the Jets in Cleveland with, Darnold, Baker. They need to get it right.
Yeah, they both have great opportunity because this is one of those rare situations where you've got young quarterbacks on rookie deals. And so if you're in competition for a coach, you can sell that to that coach. And so if Mike McCarthy's out there, and the New York Jets are in competition with, say, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to get Mike McCarthy, they can say to Mike McCarthy, hey, we've got Sam Darnold. Not only do we have Sam Darnold at 21 years old, we have him for the next 3 years on a rookie contract, and we have $100 million to spend. So you can play a big part in making up the team around him. I think with the Browns, it's more than just Baker Mayfield. I think it's the makeup of the entire team. And they're at a critical juncture with a lot of their young players, right? They probably have more under 26 talent than anyone in the NFL right now. Go down the list. Myles Garrett, Larry Ogunjobi, Joe Schobert, Denzel Ward, Jabril Peppers, Jarvis Landry. There are a lot of good young players on that team. Nick Chubb, David Njoku. They want a teacher. And so that's why I would not be surprised if they go and get one of these big-time program leaders from the college level. You're not going to hear a lot about it until it happens, and maybe they strike out on them. But again, the name I've continued to hear connected to that one is Iowa State coach Matt Campbell. And so I think in one case, you're looking for a guy who's run an NFL program and can be a grown-up in the room. That's the Jets, because you've got so much work to do on building the roster. I think in Cleveland, a lot of the infrastructure is already in place, which will give you the opportunity to bring in a guy and project a guy into the role, guy who's a good teacher and has some experience building a program.
There's a story this morning that comes out. Speaking of diva wide receiver, Odell Beckham Jr., who increasingly looks a little fragile. We know he's gifted. There's talk the Niners would be interested, which is interesting considering the pushback with Antonio Brown that, the diva wide receivers had a bad month in this league. Do you buy the Giants are looking to move Odell for the right pieces?
I think the Giants are in a position right now where they need capital to go and get a quarterback, whether it's this year or next year. And so I think they have to look at all of their options to build a war chest so they can go and strike if they do like Dwayne Haskins or Daniel Jones or one of the quarterbacks this year, or if they need to build that war chest for the future so they have the sort of capital in 2020 to go and get a Jake Fromm or a Tua Tagovailoa or a Justin Herbert. And so I think the next couple of years are all about finding the next guy there. And Odell Beckham is one of the most valuable assets they have on that roster, and he's even more valuable now than he was a year ago because you have him signed for the next few years, and people don't think about this piece of it, Colin. The market for non-quarterbacks changed after Odell Beckham signed his deal when Khalil Mack and Aaron Donald did their deals. And so the numbers for Odell Beckham, it looks expensive now. in a year or two, it's not going to look so expensive anymore. And so I think they look at Odell Beckham as a potential chip, a guy that you could move, where you say to yourself, well, if we're going to have a young quarterback in here and it might take a year or two for us to get back up on our feet, what is Odell Beckham realistically going to have left when that young quarterback is really ready to play at an all-pro level? Why don't we just look at the idea of turning Beckham into a chip and see if we can maybe build up that war chest a little bit to go and strike on a young quarterback?
Russell Wilson's got the undrafted Doug Baldwin, 7th-round running back Chris Carlson. He's turned Tyler Lockett into a star. He was a punt returner and a slot guy out of college. Dak's got all sorts of great pieces. First-rounder running back Amari Cooper, Tyron Smith, Zach Martin. If Dak lost at home to Seattle, does that in any way change the future of Dak in Dallas, in your opinion?
I don't think so. I mean, I think the Jones family is sold on him as a leader, is sold on him as a guy who can be the face of the franchise. And in Dallas, in particular, that sort of thing matters because you're playing on a different stage than the other 31 teams. And I think Dak's ability to handle everything that goes along with being the Cowboys quarterback matters. I think to do. And if you want to go back and you want to look at, say, Cincinnati's situation with Andy Dalton in 2014, they were coming off of 3 playoff years. Did he look like a superstar? No, but they showed they were able to win with them. And they got, a reasonable contract done with him where the numbers may have been big, but there were escape hatches there. And so if Dak goes and lays an egg on Saturday, I still think the Cowboys look to do a long-term deal with them. And I think the numbers will still be big quarterback numbers, but it may give them the leeway to put some escape hatches in that deal, which would allow them to get out down the road. But again, I think his ability to handle being the Cowboys quarterback is an important factor here.
You and I are on the Colts are a year away from a dynasty. 9 draft picks, $100 million cap space. They could use a number 2 receiver, a pass rusher, and another corner, and they'll probably solidify their own line. They may go get a tackle. But when you talk to people around the league about the Colts, I said this earlier, we did not see the Warriors dynasty coming. We didn't think Joe Torre, who had a losing record, we didn't see that coming. Mike Krzyzewski was a 500 coach at Army. We didn't see that dynasty coming. When you talk to people around the league, I think Indianapolis starting next year, they become the Patriots. And I'm serious. I think they have a 10-year dynastic run. What do people around the league say to you?
The right general manager. I mean, I think that Chris Ballard is considered among his peers as a top 5 general manager, a very good head coach who's shown to be capable of putting together a really good staff. Both his coordinators, Matt Eberflus and Nick Sirianni, are getting looks as head coaching candidates after just 1 year. And again, all the resources that you have on top of having a bona fide franchise quarterback in Andrew Luck. It's having all of these young guys on rookie deals, your Malik Hookers, your Quentin Nelsons, your Darius Leonards. It's also having $100 million to spend this offseason. And remember, you talked about pass rushers. Guys like Dee Ford, Jadeveon Clowney, DeMarcus Lawrence, Frank Clark are going to be out there on the market.
Yep.
And then you've got 3 picks in the first 2 rounds, including the Jets pick, which is probably going to be almost like a first rounder, 34 or 35 overall. They're set up incredibly well. And again, I don't think they're getting a Super Bowl this year, but if I had to put odds on who's going to get to Super Bowl 54 in Miami early, I think the Indianapolis Colts would be at the top of the AFC list.
Okay, I'm going to ask you 2 quick questions and just quick 10-second, 15-second answers. Okay, yep. Green Bay Packers' next coach will be
Josh McDaniels.
Oh, why?
And I've said this to you for a month, Colin.
Why?
Look, I'm going to explain this to you really quick, okay? Coaching Aaron Rodgers is difficult. There's an anxiety that goes along with it. There's a pressure that goes along with coaching a guy who has that much experience and ability. There's pressure on you to do that. Josh McDaniels is one of the few coaches on the planet who knows what that's like because he's been coaching Tom Brady. That is an important piece of this. I'm not saying for sure he's going to be the head coach. He needs to win the interview. I'm saying he's in a very good position going in doing this weekend.
Okay, I allow that long answer because that was good. All right, one more. Le'Veon Bell next year is a starting running back for
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, that's what I heard. All right, that's good.
Yeah, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That was a shorter answer. Hey, you're great. Albert Breer, Monday Morning Quarterback. Great stuff, Albert. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Colin.
Boy, Joy. Whew.
I mean, his explanation makes sense.
Yes.
I don't love that hire at all, but I don't get the whole Josh McDaniels thing personally.
Yeah, but he's cool. He's lit. He's happening.
Is he lit? I mean, he's lit under Belichick with Brady.